Councilman Young has a comment he'd like to make.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to take an opportunity to inform everyone that long-term stalwart of Southwest Baltimore County politics, James E. Malone, former delegate from District 12 and former vice chair of the Environment and Transportation Committee in the House of Delegates, died this afternoon. So I wanted to thank you for the opportunity, and please keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now ask Councilman Marks to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I just want to acknowledge one of our best in Baltimore County, Auditor Lauren Smelkinson. Lauren is right here. Raise your hand, Lauren. And you know what, Lauren? Everyone sees your back. No one ever, has anyone here ever seen the front of Lauren Smelkinson, or it's just the back here? Okay. 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 There we go. So this is Lauren, and Lauren, she's done outstanding work. She's informed us that, and she's way too young to be doing this, but she's going to retire on December 23rd. And so tonight is Lauren's last legislative meeting with us. So let me just ask any of my colleagues, I know Councilman Marks, Councilman Jones, Councilman Catch, and Councilman Crandall have worked with Lauren for more years than I have, but we've all come to respect Lauren and find her to be, as a top-notch professional in what she does. And in many cases, when we ask questions to some of the agencies, even sometimes uncomfortable questions, it's Lauren that helps us determine what those uncomfortable questions are. So with that, I will just ask my colleagues if anybody would like to make a comment related to Lauren's retirement. Councilman Jones.
Yeah, Lauren, we will certainly wish you well in your retirement. You've been here for many, many years. And one of the things that I like about you, Lauren, is I've sit here for 10 years and I've watched how people come up with these ideas and they got these thoughts. And they always ask, well, what about this? And what does that cost? And how about this? And you guys always says, okay, all right. And you go off and 20 people are working on it. You've never, ever turned anybody down. You've always answered questions anytime, day or night, weekends, whatever. So you've certainly been 100% committed to this job. And we're going to miss you, and you have some big shoes to fill. So thank you so much for your service. Sure.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Any of the members, any additional members? Councilman Catch?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lauren, I certainly want to thank you for your work as the head of the audit office. Appreciate the fiscal notes, explanations of the legislation before the council. And I know that some of the fiscal notes are not easy to arrive at because there's so many unknowns. So I appreciate it. Wish you well in the future. And I guess you'll take some time off and then get another job? No? So anyhow, take the time off, enjoy it, and congratulations.
Any additional? Councilman Crandall?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Lauren, it has been just an absolute pleasure working with you over the last decade. I think that you have the ability to make complicated things. You can simplify them so even people like me can understand them, which I certainly appreciate. But your responsiveness, and whenever a call or text is made to you, I think I can speak for my colleagues that the response comes almost immediately, one way or the other. So I think you're a true professional, and big loss for Baltimore County, but congratulations on your retirement. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Crandall. Councilman Young?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lauren, just wanted to say that I have not had the pleasure of knowing you for as long as some of my colleagues, but in a short period of time, come to respect and appreciate your professionalism, your adept understanding of all things budget. And as the chair of the Spending Affordability Committee last year and then going on to this year, your openness and willingness to entertain open questions, some that you have known the answer to for your long tenure in your position as the auditor, but also your patience with us as we start going through our budgets from year to year and while we start to understand things that you have known your entire career. So congratulations on a job well done, and it's a big loss, but look forward to your next chapter as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Marks?
Well, thank you very much. Lauren, I think you and Mr. Bostwick and Ms. Belcastro and I are the only ones still here from 2010. I've known you probably the longest of anyone up here. You have set an example for professionalism. You have headed up a critical office within Baltimore County government that really delves into the mechanics of government and also helps us with forecasting the future. You have been a true and valuable team player, and I wish you the best.
Thank you. Councilman Ertel?
Yes, Lauren, I'm not sure that the public completely understands the office of the auditor, but you keep a lot of the trains on the rails as far as the county council goes, as far as us, our oversight side of things. And as other of my colleagues have said here tonight, you kind of make it easier for us to boil it down to often the uncomfortable questions we might need to ask. I know this year, I think at the beginning of the year, I sent you this long email about all these different questions about different things in the county. I kind of expected, not that I thought you'd do this, but it was a lot of questions, and you said, oh, we'll get it all done. And you did, and it was, I appreciated that. And we're definitely going to miss your even-handedness and, just your presence, at all our council meetings. So, but I know you're going to have a good time out in the world doing things you want to do. So, thank you.
Well, Lauren, we have a couple of tough budgets ahead. And so, someone with your skill set is someone who could help us manage through these budgets. So do you really have to retire? Can you just stay on for 2 more years? No, I'm just seasonal and part-time. Wow. Okay. Listen, Lauren, you've done an outstanding job. I'd like everyone here that's here today that's present and those virtually, let's give Lauren a big applause. I think Lauren hates being the center of attention. Okay. I think everyone knows that we have a 7 o'clock hearing today. Oh, resolution. Okay. Let me back off of that. We're going to present a resolution to Lauren. And so, Mr. Secretary, you have that resolution? Let's do it.
So if I may, council members, I would like to echo about Lauren what you all have said. I've had the good fortune to work with Lauren for the last 14 years, the last 6 as the secretary, and as a result, I've gotten to work very closely with her on a lot of things, daily and more long-term, and it's been a privilege. It really has. So it's my privilege to read this. Be it hereby a Baltimore County Council resolution. Be it hereby known to all that the Baltimore County Council offers sincerest congratulations to Lauren M. Smelkinson, who is retiring after over 36 years of faithful and dedicated service to the people of Baltimore County. After graduating from Towson State University with a bachelor's degree in business administration, cum laude, Lauren Smelkinson began her career with Baltimore County government on August 15, 1988. In the Office of Finance. Lauren then moved to the County Auditor's Office on April 22, 1991, and on her first day, in a preview of things to come and during the busiest time of year for the office, she logged the first of many 10-plus hour days. Lauren's hard work was rewarded as she progressed through the Auditor's Office, beginning as Auditor 2, then Auditor 3 in October of 1993, moving to Audit Manager in June of 95, and being promoted to Director of Audits in January 2007. Along the way, Lauren achieved licensure as a certified public accountant in the state of Maryland. On October 4th, 2010, the Baltimore County Council had the great pleasure to appoint Lauren as the county auditor. In this position, Lauren has been an invaluable asset to the legislative branch and its oversight role, and has supervised all aspects of the office's audit and fiscal and policy analysis sections. She's also led the Council's Spending Affordability Committee and the Baltimore County Economic Advisory Committee. Lauren's commitment and dedication to the Auditor's Office staff and to the County Council in providing the Council members with prudent advice and accurate and timely information have been the hallmarks of her tenure. So on behalf of the Auditor's Office and legislative branch and the people of Baltimore County, the Council joins with those assembled on Monday, December 16th, 2024, to celebrate Lauren Smelkinson's well-deserved retirement, to honor her dedication to the highest ideals of public service, and to wish her health and happiness. No doubt Lauren will miss the long hours and sleepless nights during budget season, but we have a feeling she will get over it and somehow fill the void. Pickleball, anyone? Congratulations.
Congratulations, Lauren. Okay, again, thank you, Lauren. Is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of December 2nd, 2024?
So moved.
Is there all in favors? Aye. Okay, the journal is approved.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
I
sir.
think before we move on too far, I think you ought to put Ms. Smelkinson on the spot and see if she could say a few words.
Absolutely. Ms. Smelkinson? You want to go to the witness stand, Ms. Smelkinson? No? Okay.
This is perfect, and I'll be brief because it's a long meeting ahead, but it's been an incredible feeling that this is my last legislative session as the county auditor. It's been a true honor and privilege serving as a county auditor these past 14 plus years and having an amazing 36 plus year career with Baltimore County. During my tenure, I served 4 county councils and have worked with great people. In addition to the council, I'd like to thank my deputy, Ms. Irwin, and the great team in the auditor's office, as well as those I've shared the table with, Tom and Chris and Adam. And I've had the opportunity in my position to work with the administration and all the executive branch agencies. So it's truly been an incredible career. And again, I would love to say thank you.
Okay. I just want to acknowledge, I think I saw a former county administrative officer in the audience. Is that right? Mr. Wassilison? John Wassilison. John, stand up for a minute so we can give you applause. Thank you. Nice to see you, John. So, Ms. Walker, John used to sit in the seat that you sit in, and the hot seat, we call it.
I don't think it's the hot seat, and John and I have met and had some conversations. So, thank you.
All right. We approved the journal. Let's go to enrollment of bills. Bills 8324, 8424, 8524, 8624, 8724, 8824, 8924, 9024, 9224, 9324, 9424, 9524, 9824, 9924, and 100-24 were passed by the council, signed by the county executive, and are hereby enrolled. Mr. Secretary, will you read all bills for introduction, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We only have one bill this evening for introduction. That is Bill 107-24. This is an administration bill, posting signs on public property.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Secretary. We'll now move on to final reading and votes of bills. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, we had Bill 97-24. That bill was withdrawn prior to the evening's meeting. The next bill for your consideration is Bill 101-24, Current Expense Budget Homeless Solutions Program, HSP, State Department of Health and Community Development.
Okay, Mr. Hickey seems inspired by this bill, so.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the council. I'm here to finalize what Chief Sheridan presented over the last 2 work sessions. Here on behalf of the administration, requesting a supplemental appropriation of state funding for the FY25 budget for the county's homeless service programs. The additional appropriation is detailed in Bill 101-24. It represents additional state grant funds in the amount of $580,476 to support homelessness prevention, shelter diversion, and time-limited rental assistance to 4 existing service providers. We're always happy to receive additional funds from the state, so we're here to ask for support of the supplemental appropriation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hickey. Do any of the members have any questions, comments, or thoughts to share with Mr. Hickey? Okay, hearing none.
Motion to approve.
You have a motion.
Second it?
Motion.
We have an amendment,
amendment?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Secretary, could you share the amendment?
The amendment is really a technical one. It changes a reference in the bill to federal and changes it to state.
Okay. We have a motion on the amendment?
Move the amendment.
Okay, motion is second on the amendment. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the amendment.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch? Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Okay, amendment carries. Now we're back to the bill proper. Do we have any?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion on the bill proper.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Okay, the bill carries. Congratulations, Mr. Hickey.
Next, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, is Bill 102-24, Current Expense Budget Community Supported Agricultural CSA LHD Project.
Mr. Richardson.
Good evening, Chairman Patoka, members of the council. The administration is seeking your approval for a supplemental appropriation of state funding in the amount of $17,000 to support our community-supported agricultural grant. The goal of the project is to engage farmers with the intent of increasing access to fruits and vegetables to improve the health outcomes of our families in Baltimore County. The funding will provide opportunity for farmers to establish a SNAP-eligible CSA program and provide funding for farmers to apply for electronic benefit transfer payment systems. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Do any of the members have any questions, comments, or thoughts to share with Mr. Richardson? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
I'll move it.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Okay, congratulations, Mr. Richardson.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 103-24, Bond Ordinance.
Okay, Mr. Reed.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and council members. Excuse me, Bill 103-24 is a request for your favorable approval of our annual bond ordinance. This is an item of business that comes before the council each year, normally in November or December timeframe, in accordance with Section 709 of the county charter, which gives the administration approval to issue the sale of our bonds and/or bands for the existing debt that we have, and the authority to issue refunding bonds and purchase development rights. So again, the county sells bonds and/or bands annually to fund capital projects that are currently in process based on voter approval of the referendum and based on our adopted budget, our existing adopted capital budget. This is not new spending. This gives us the ability to issue the approved bonds in the current capital budget. The amount we have estimated to borrow are based on estimated cash needs for our current capital funds to remain whole in the fiscal year. Specifically, we plan to issue up to $177 million for consolidated public improvement bonds, including $126 million for schools, $31 million for public works, $6 million for the community college, $5 million for agricultural prez, $8 million for waterway improvements, and $1 million for refuse disposal for the current existing projects. The bill also authorizes, on the Metro side, up to $241 million in Metro District bonds. This bill authorizes the ability to refund callable debt, that's debt that becomes due and can be refinanced, and provided there is a minimum 3% value savings to the county and the office and the financial advisor. We continuously monitor markets for any potential refunding opportunities. With certain exceptions, the authority to issue bonds and/or bands will expire December 31 of 2025, and this bill will become effective 45 days after its enactment.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Do any of the members have any questions, comments, or thoughts to share with Mr. Reed? Councilman Marks.
Mr. Reed, do we have any estimates on the amount of ARPA funding that has not been expended?
Are ARPA funded, so the guidelines say that it has to be encumbered to an existing project as of December 31 of this year, and encumbered, and then you have 2 years to spend the funding to complete projects, and we will have 100% encumbered by the end of this calendar year.
Okay. I ask that because we have a contract coming up for $468,000 for technical assistance and workshops. And if it's ARPA funding, that's different than traditional county funding, but we've got to start watching this spending. And that's a lot, in my mind, that's a lot of money. If it's ARPA funding, that's different. So that's why I asked that question. Thank you.
Any additional questions, comments? Councilman Young?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Reed, thank you for taking the time with you and your staff to go over questions and back and forth that we had and talking with our auditors. Wanted to make sure that you knew that the information that you sent us after clarifying some of the requests we were making about the projects that a lot of this funding will go towards filling previous accounts was appreciated, and I know it's a work in progress, and look forward to talking with you and working with your staff moving forward, especially how we can better understand, especially we move into tough economic times, how these bond approvals will affect our decisions, not just in this fiscal year, but in the next one. So I appreciate you clarifying that and look forward to supporting the bond request.
Okay, I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Mr. Reed, I just have a quick one. I just want to make sure the definition I have in my mind of an encumbrance is a correct definition. So my understanding of an encumbrance, just back to the comments on the ARPA funds. So an encumbrance in my mind is either been, well, we know what's been expended, but an encumbrance would be those dollars that have not been expended but are bound to a contract in some way. Is that the correct definition?
It is correct. It would be tied to a supplier contract or purchase order or a grant agreement or any other legal agreement.
Okay, that's all I need. I just wanted to make sure what was up here was what was actually defined by the county as an encumbrance. Okay, any additional questions, comments? Do we have a motion?
I'll move it.
There's an amendment.
Oh, Mr. Secretary, amendment, please.
This is another technical amendment, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. The amendment on page 52 of the bill would change the dollar figure from $2,585,594,000 to $2,459,664,000. And on page 53, from $2,693,056,419 to $2,550,951,419.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Any questions on the amendment? Do we have a motion on the amendment?
Move the amendment.
Second.
A motion and a second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Yeah, aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Okay, amendment passes.
Move the bills amended.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Okay, congratulations, Mr. Reed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 104-24, sponsored by Councilman Marks, Vehicles and Traffic, Operation of a Golf Cart on County Highways.
Go ahead, Councilman Marks. I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
No problem. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. In its 2024 legislative session, the General Assembly enacted House Bill 43, which authorizes local jurisdictions to designate county or municipal highways under the respective boundaries in which a person may operate a golf cart. Baltimore County has several waterfront communities that may benefit from the flexibility of operating this in certain rural areas. But it's important that we implement guidelines that allow us to get to this point. Now, that's why I'm offering this legislation, which creates a pilot program in which we will work with the police department to identify those routes that will be subject to the parameters of this bill. Again, a pilot program only has a certain amount of time. At the end of the trial period, the police department and the Department of Public Works and Transportation will provide their recommendations back to the county council. We can choose to extend the pilot program, we can make it permanent, or we can end it. I think this is a very rational way of approaching this, since the General Assembly has basically thrown this into our laps.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Marks. Any members have any questions for Councilman Marks? Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll move it.
There is an amendment as well.
There's an amendment.
Should I read the amendment?
Yes, please.
The amendment offered by Councilman Marks would adopt the golf cart definition that is set forth in COMAR that was discussed at the work session last week. Excuse me, and would also clarify that an authorizing resolution to permit golf carts on a public road in a certain area can only do so in the council district of the lead sponsor of the authorizing resolution.
Okay, so that's the amendment. Do you have any motion on the amendment?
I'll move it.
Second.
Motion's been moved and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Okay. Councilman Marks?
Thank you all very much for support of the amendment. So should this legislation pass, the next step will be a separate resolution designating those routes where these would be allowed. So I'd like to move the legislation.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Okay, congratulations, Councilman Marks.
Thank you very much.
You go buy a golf cart.
Yes, so if you have a golf cart,
Drive it
Councilman
down
Marks,
Foley's
district,
Quarters.
good district to live in. Okay. If you don't, well, there's 6 other districts. Okay. Sorry, Councilman.
You'll have that right?
Okay. We'll now move into all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on December 10th, 2024. The witnesses who testified at the work session are available to restate their testimony if needed. I'll now call upon the secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matters 1 through 4.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Fiscal Matter 1 is an amendment to contract with Maryland Association of Nonprofit Organizations Incorporated. Fiscal Matter 2 is a contract with Dogwood Kennels, LLC. Fiscal Matter 3 is a contract with University of Maryland St. Joseph Medical Center, LLC. And Fiscal Matter 4 is an amendment to contract with Siemens Industry Incorporated.
Okay, are there any questions, comments, or thoughts from the members? We have a motion?
I'd like to make a comment.
Oh, Councilman Marks.
So I'm going to vote for fiscal matter 1, but this is what I was referring to. I'm hoping we don't see more of these in the future.
Okay. Any additional comments? All right, do we have a motion on fiscal matters?
I'll move it.
Okay, do we have a second? Second. All right, motion and second on fiscal matters. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Okay, fiscal matters pass. Mr. Secretary, we're moving on to miscellaneous business.
Yes. First item was Resolution 46-24. This was withdrawn prior to tonight's meeting. Next is Resolution 47-24, sponsored by Council Members Patoka, Ertel, Catch, Marks, Crandall, and Young, establishing the 2025 Redistricting Commission.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Secretary. So again, Resolution 4724, for those that are in attendance, establishes a redistricting commission. We're staying on course, reaching an historic time in Baltimore County by expanding the council by 2 members. It started, I guess, November of 23. This council established a county council expansion work group. That group had a mandate to complete its recommendations by March 31st. So they had about a dozen meetings, maybe up 3, 4, maybe up to half a dozen public hearings. And they looked at keeping the council the same size. They looked at increasing it to 7, increasing it to 9, increasing it to 11, and also increasing it by 6 members to 13. The council work group submitted a 150-page report to the council. Fortunately, it had an executive summary in the front. And so and I think it's online, is it not, Mr. Secretary, for anyone that wants to peruse it? But basically, the recommendation was that we expand the council by 2 members to 9. They had a tight deadline. They had to get it on, they had to have their recommendations by March 31st because it had to be on the ballot for the general election. And we, the council, had to take certain actions to get it on the ballot. So it did go, it was on the general election ballot. It was supported overwhelmingly by the voters of Baltimore County. And so we're now on the next steps. And so there was a preliminary concept map that was submitted with, coincidentally, the bill has the same number as the resolution, 4724. So Bill 4724 had a concept map associated with it. And so there was always there was an amendment that Councilman Catch put in the original bill that said, hey, we can modify the maps, but we have to do it by October 1st of 2025, because all of this is going to be for the election of 2026, where we won't be electing 7 council members, we'll be electing 9 council members. And so following the amendment, complying with the amendment that Councilman Catch put in, we knew all along that this map was a concept map, a preliminary map. And so now the day has come where we have to establish a redistricting commission. They've got that commission will have tight deadlines if it's if it's supported, because we need to have everything ready by October 1st of 2025. We have to do our due diligence. And so what Resolution 4724 stipulates is that a redistricting commission will be formed of 7 members. Each of the council members will appoint a member to that commission, and then they have to submit a report by June 13th of 2025. And there'll be lots of public hearings related to it, so I know we have a lot of interest in this. And then then for the ballot, so by October 1 of 2025, we'll have to have all this wrapped up. And then in the primaries, which will be in the spring of 2026, I don't know the exact date. I hear some discussion up here, but let's just say the spring of 2026, we'll be selecting 9 council members. We'll have a better definition, certainly by October 1, of what the maps look like. So hopefully, I'm hoping this passes. I appreciate my colleagues who have co-sponsored, and stay tuned to how the map stay tuned and also participate would be the watchwords that I would apply to this particular resolution. Any of the co-sponsors wish to comment? Or anyone else wish to comment? Councilman Jones?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I just want to say that the map that was made during the initial bill, the map that survived a bill to remove that map is law today. Thank you.
Okay. Any additional comments? Okay. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Cash?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you to my colleagues. We're continuing on course for a historic time in Baltimore County. And thank you to everyone who's been a part of the process.
Next, Mr.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, next
Sorry.
item.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Resolution 49-24. This resolution seeks approval of the county's Financial Assurance Plan, Watershed and Restoration Program.
Okay, we're going to call Director Hightest up. Director HT. Director Tablada, I'm sorry for all this.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the council. For the record, Horacio Tablada, Director of the Department of Environmental Protection and Sustainability. And I'm here this evening seeking your approval of the Resolution 4924, which is to support our county's financial assurance plan that is required to be submitted to MDE by the end of the calendar year. What this does is to ensure the state that we are on track to meet our goals with the MS4 permits, and also that we have the funding necessary to support the projects that we're doing to achieve those goals. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions, but we seek your approval of that resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Tablada. Do any of the members have any questions, comments, or thoughts to share? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion, and we have a second. Councilman Crandall. Okay, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Okay, congratulations, Director
Thank you, sir.
Tablada. Okay, Mr. Secretary, are we going to pause or are we going to continue on?
There's one more item, Mr. Chairman. That is Resolution 50-24. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Jones and would support the Maryland Railway Safety Act in consideration with the Maryland General Assembly, just for introduction only this evening.
Okay, thank you.
And in answer to your question, sir, we could pause for 10 minutes and then reconvene before, a little before 7 o'clock, and we can make sure the show is ready to go, so to speak.
I would suggest we pause because our notification was at 7, so there may be people that are planning to get here at 7 that would like to participate. The room's pretty crowded. I guess we may have to have contingency for overflow. Is that possible? Or at this late hour, perhaps not. We'll just pack. What's that? Oh, yes. So if it gets tight, we'll all have to move closer until we're in a position of being uncomfortable with one another. Okay. So Caitlin's saying she's already in that position. Isn't that your husband next to you, Caitlin? Okay, I'm not going to ask on you guys might want to see, what is it, Dr. Is that Dr. Oz or not Dr. Oz? Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil. Okay. I don't know. All right. So listen, thank you all for being interested in this. We'll come back at around 7 o'clock. Okay? Thanks, everybody. Zach Milani, you ready? Okay. We're going to move to the public interviews of the 5 county executive candidate finalists. The 5 candidates in alphabetical order are Jim Brochin, Yara Scheik, Catherine Klausmeyer, George Pertikakis, and Barry Williams. The format for this portion of the meeting is as follows. Each candidate is here in our council office, and the candidates are sequestered with no access to any communication devices. The purpose of this is so that the candidates cannot communicate with any other persons while awaiting their opportunity before the council. Each candidate will be given up to 15 minutes to introduce themselves and make their presentation as to why they should be the next county executive. The presentation should include responses to the topics and questions the council provided to each candidate last Wednesday, December 11th. The 15-minute timer will be on the video monitors, and each candidate will be asked to stop their remarks when the timer expires. In order to ensure fairness and consistency to the candidates in this process, questions from individual council members are discouraged unless there is a pressing need to address a particular issue. If any question is raised, it will not count against the 15-minute limit. Once a candidate's presentation is concluded, we'll have the secretary bring in the next candidate until all candidates have made their presentations. There'll be no questions or comments from persons in the audience. In fairness to all the candidates, I would request that persons in attendance observe proper decorum and that there'll be no applause or negative sounds towards anyone. Also, I want to note that the process for selecting the order of the candidates was to have each candidate, beginning in alphabetical order, pick a number labeled from 1 to 5 in a cup. The person with the number 1 will present first and will go into numerical order after that. The person up till we get to number 5 going last. Following the last presentation, we're going to adjourn the meeting. I want to thank all 12 candidates who applied for the office of county executive. This process has been very competitive, and all the applications we received were very impressive. Regardless of the outcome, everyone who applied should be very proud of their candidacy. I also want to thank everyone here and online for their cooperation this evening. Do any of my colleagues have any questions or comments before we begin? Okay, Councilman Katz, I'll just ask you to turn your mic off so we're clear on this. Okay, thanks everyone, to my colleagues and everyone here. And Mr. Secretary, it's a moment of truth now. You guys ready for this? Okay, Mr. Secretary, first candidate, please. That was good. What's that? I think they. Okay.
First candidate is Barry Williams.
Okay. Before we begin, I'm just going to ask everyone to, let's give Mr. Williams applause for throwing his name in there.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. I am someone who is a lifelong resident of Baltimore County, who entered school in the first grade at Arbutus Elementary during the early days of legal desegregation, and graduated from Lansdowne High. My first professional job was working for Baltimore County Schools, where I spent most of my career. I have been privileged to have witnessed a lot of growth over the years in Baltimore County. I am deeply invested in what happens and want to be a part of its continued progression. With respect to the budget, the 2026 budget is expected to have revenues strong enough to meet the financial needs of the coming year. With careful spending, we should be all right. ARPA funding ends December 31st, 2026. It is the fiscal year 2027 that is the biggest concern. The capital needs are only going to increase. We have the third oldest infrastructure in the state. We have not been able to keep up the maintenance on so many old buildings. There are increased capital concerns in our schools as well. In the state, county workers are at the lower end of the pay scales when compared to the larger counties. Work towards actionable solutions about fiscal year 2027 and beyond would begin immediately. We are privileged to be in an area where there are brilliant financial minds who are willing to assist in providing viable options. I also think that there is great value in listening to the public, especially during budgetary season. I would attend every councilmanic budget meeting. I would work with the council to prioritize our spending. We know that we will need to bring in new revenue streams as well as tightening our belt. We know that the state is facing a huge deficit as well, and we hope not much will be passed on to the counties. At the same time, we will put forward a balanced budget every year, and we must maintain our AAA bond rating. Baltimore County enjoys the reputation of having solid public safety departments. It is an accurate description. Early in my career, I had the opportunity to work at the Police Training Division, working with recruits. I was on loan for 1 year from the school system. After that year, I returned to the school system and spent the next 13 years working part-time with that unit. It allowed me to have more insight and empathy to our sworn officers. I'm also aware that there are currently 270 vacancies in the police department, and over the next 18 months, several hundred may retire. At the same time, there are mounting community needs, especially with juvenile crime. I tend to take a harder view on dealing with poor behaviors wherever they may occur, regardless of age. With youth, more wraparound services are needed, not a slap on the wrist. More presence on the street in problem areas helps. Aggressive marketing, incentives, especially with housing, is needed to bring in new recruits. Having the third largest school system in the state, Baltimore County Schools had 20 schools which received a 5-star rating, more than any other jurisdiction in the state. 38 additional schools advanced by at least 1-star rating. I heard from Dr. Rogers that the 24 school superintendents, understanding the great weight of the blueprint reforms, are asking for a pause while still having impact and aim. Pillar 1, which addressed all-day kindergarten, which started with 300 seats and has now advanced to over 2,000 seats for all-day kindergarten. We know that will move the needle further along in the continual growth of positive assessments. I am encouraged that Baltimore County Public Schools has expanded their career and CTE programs and its courses of study. Dual enrollment with the Community College of Baltimore County and more programs for multilingual and special needs programs have increased. We should be engaged partners and supporters, sharing and telling the real story of what's going on in our school system. During the Jim Smith administration, I was the Director of Workforce Development. I learned that there were many reasons why a business may decide to relocate to Baltimore County. Tax incentives, location in a desirable area, and availability of a strong workforce. Finding out what type of employee is wanted and their skill sets by talking to potential businesses is always a good thing. Knowing that will help prepare training modules. Following the trends in business is important. Right now, ventures in AI are what's hot. Working with the community college regarding training helps keep the workforce pipelines flowing. TradePoint Atlantic is anticipating that 6,000 to 7,000 well-paying jobs will become available in the next couple of years. That is a big economic engine that needs our full support. Marketing the pluses of our area as much as we can will help drive businesses to Baltimore County. The dilemma with housing is that many in our community, especially in the younger age brackets, cannot afford to live where they work. I understand the consent decree, and I applaud the efforts that this current administration has done moving toward the creation of 1,000 affordable housing units. The creation of new housing will not be enough to meet the need, however. We will need to look at older communities to rehab and or make desirable housing for our young and older citizens. We should also look at creating more mixed-use areas that combine businesses with housing. I have always enjoyed the efforts and thinking behind regionalism. I have seen the benefits of leaving silos and forming partnerships with our neighbors. I have a casual relationship with all the contiguous county executives and the mayor of Baltimore City. I also have a good relationship with our governor. Moving up to the next level in partnerships in a variety of ways just makes sense, especially when it comes to federal aid and large efforts. We all benefit in the sharing of a robust economy. With respect to government operations, I plan to meet with the department heads and ask them to look within their own departments and find areas that they could be more efficient and effective. I would give them about a week to come back individually and have them specify where they could be more effective. If the answer is, I need more staff, they would have to specify what staff and where. I would then ask them to do a different alignment of their existing staff, thinking in terms of cross-training. Anyone who comes back and says that they cannot do better would have to show me why that is the case. The exceptions are, of course, in public safety, where we already know the vacancies. The vision I would like to set for this county is that everyone who calls or sends a letter will get a reply within 3 days, and all relevant messages will be returned. Also, help workers understand that the answer no, along with the reason, is better than no answer or stringing people along. We know that some departments are more responsive than others. Although we have a large workforce and a large county, I still enjoy managing by walking around without notice. We want to be seen as helpful and responsive to our community. We need to be better in all our departments. Leadership is always required on all occasions. People want to feel assured that the leader is looking out for their best interests. A good leader is visible. The leader needs to be an effective, credible communicator who is able to remain calm and level-headed in a crisis. A good leader is also a good listener. Consistent messaging of, we're going to get through this, while giving accurate and up-to-date information is important during any crisis. A good leader consults with others whenever possible. The leader as a healer is needed, especially when bad things happen. The leader should convey appropriate concern and sympathy where needed. It is useful that the leader has experience and comfort in front of a camera. And that concludes my remarks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. Appreciate you throwing your hat into the ring. Mr. Secretary, Mr. Williams, you're welcome to stay. We're not going to have any questions.
Okay.
You're welcome to observe the other candidates if you so desire. But thank you again for your time. Next, yes. Okay, everyone's behavior was excellent during that. Keep it up. A one-handed clap, no, don't. Yeah. Mike, I could tell a joke. I have one joke queued up. No.
Next, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, is Mr. Jim Broshin.
Okay, somebody's getting directions. Mr. Brochin, I just want to thank you for throwing your hat into the ring, and I'm going to ask everyone here to join me in an applause for Mr. Brochin for throwing it. And you may begin whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. First of all, thank you for making me one of the five. And before I start my formal remarks, I did want to bring notice to the signed sworn affidavit that I did sign over 2 months ago, and I think all of you have copies. It's under the penalty of perjury that I won't run for county executive in 2026 or 2030. It is drafted by the state's attorney, who, despite being a supporter of mine, told me he wouldn't hesitate to give it to the special prosecutor. And I'm not interested in being prosecuted for perjury, nor do I seek to be county executive in 2026 or 2030. And if I am appointed by all of you and you still have any doubts, before being sworn in, I'm happy to have a press conference with all of you and attest to that to the press and the media and everybody else. And there's copies here for you if you'd like. So with that being said, let's go on to the questionnaire that was sent, and I'm going to go in the order. And first, we're going to start with budget. First and foremost, in my administration, there will be no tax or fee increases, period. It is well known that with COVID money having been depleted and the state running a deficit, that Baltimore County revenues will not be able to keep up with its expenditures. There will not be any cuts to public safety or code enforcement, as those are my two top priorities. But outside of these agencies, all other agencies are subject to budget cuts. Here are a few examples of some of the things I'll be looking at in cooperation with all of you. One, per Governor Moore, it looks like we're going to delay certain aspects of Kerwin funding, so that should leave a little room in the budget. Number two, I'd like to examine the outside leasing of county office space and see if the county already has existing space to house county employees. And number three, I'd like to have all department heads come in and make recommendations on cuts to their budget anywhere between 10 and 20%, and do that and see if we can still have core services for our constituents, but come in with recommendations between 10 and 20%. Any questions? Public safety. I can tell you that after spending 14 years on the Judicial Proceedings Committee and seeing a lot of bad actors, that I will be retaining and expanding the county's cooperation with the Justice Department in regards to ICE detainers at the Baltimore County Detention Center. If you have been convicted of a felony or a serious misdemeanor and are in this county illegally, the federal government has every right to interview you to see if your crime makes you subject to deportation. In addition, it is no secret that we have a shortage of Baltimore County police officers, with 175 more officers retiring at the end of 2025. In light of this, with your help and assistance, my administration would like to do the following. Number one, I'd like to hire a private recruiting firm to recruit new officers to work in conjunction with the public recruiting that the county police does now. So they're kind of competing with each other, but sharing best ideas on how to recruit officers. Two, I'd like to financially incentivize retirees to come back to Baltimore County Police Department full or part-time. And three, I'd like to try what other jurisdictions are doing across the country, where they're outsourcing certain things like administrative duties, investigative powers. I think in Oregon, they have private citizens doing investigative powers. So we can take the police officers who do those and put them on the street. My goal is, at the end of 2 years, in every one of your councilmanic districts, to have more police officers on the street. Because we know that when we have more police officers on the street, that we get quicker response times, we get better access to witnesses and evidence, and it also acts as a deterrent. So criminals know that Baltimore County is not the place to commit a crime. In regards to combating juvenile crime, it's really a twofold approach. I'll be going down to Annapolis with State's Attorney Schellenberger. We'd like to either originate legislation or hop onto legislation that someone has. So if you're a juvenile and you commit a crime, you are not remanded to go back home. You're not going home with an ankle bracelet. You're not going home to your parents or your guardians. If you commit a crime, and let me make this clear because I forgot to say something, commit a crime with a gun. If you commit a crime with a gun, you're not going back home, and you're not you're not having an ankle bracelet. What you're going to do is we're going to find a diversion program to put you in. And the diversion programs that are out there are plentiful. I don't think the state has taken advantage of the ones they should. And to be candid with you, I don't have a lot of confidence in the DJS director, Vincent Schiraldi. But we will examine different diversion programs for our kids that have to do with education, counseling, and an understanding of the consequences of their actions so we can help them lead more productive lives. Let me get a sip of water if you don't mind. You can count that against my time. Excuse me. Education. High quality education is one of the keys to attributing people and businesses to Baltimore County. First and foremost, I will be actively engaged with the school superintendent to be fully informed so that our residents are getting a quality education across the board. Under my administration, there will be no have and have not schools in Baltimore County. Quality education should be available to all students regardless of your zip code. As we speak, Governor Moore has adjusted the blueprint because there aren't enough teachers. However, the school system should still be setting achievement goals for its students. The three pillars of this are quality of teachers, high quality curriculum, which I know the school board sets, and professional development of teachers, which we can steer money towards. As CE, I can steer county dollars towards quality teachers and ensure that county dollars are utilized for the continuing renovation and reconstruction of Baltimore County schools. Economic development. One of the key factors in attracting employees in Baltimore County is our tax base. We must ensure that property taxes and business fees are not increased in any way. In addition, we must have a permits process in Baltimore County that works. It takes longer to get through the permit process than it does to build your project. Think about that. Longer to get through the permit process than to build your project. Every month of delay is a loss of revenue from taxes. Within my first 2 weeks as county executive, with your collaboration, I will put together a task force of businessmen and women, developers, environmentalists, and community leaders to put together recommendations of how we can make the permits process work more efficiently. In addition, in order to attract new businesses to Baltimore County, I will be collaborating with Jonathan Sachs to work on reorganizing the Office of Economic Development so that more of its employees are working on bringing more businesses to Baltimore County. Housing. There is little doubt that Baltimore County has an affordability crisis. If I'm appointed interim CE, I'd like to explore the following options with the County Council. 1, expanding the first-time homebuyers incentives. 2, offer incentives to police, firemen, and teachers to purchase their homes in Baltimore County. And 3, I will strive to promote housing in areas that are in need of redevelopment. Furthermore, the executive should refrain from forcing housing developments in your districts. I want to make it clear that I believe each councilman has the absolute right to decide what is best in their district, and I will honor that as county executive. Regionalism. Baltimore County will cooperate with Baltimore City and other jurisdictions when it is in our best interest to do so. Areas of cooperation shall include fighting crime and other areas to promote economic development to the region. We will continue to support the arts to the extent we can afford to. Government operations. As a former legislator, I've learned something valuable. Neither political party has the monopoly on truth and good ideas. As a result, my administration will be bipartisan, and as a starting point, I've asked Senator Chris West to serve in my administration. Other Republicans will also be part of my team based on bipartisan recommendations from the council and others. In my Senate office, our staff was instructed that we were like Nordstrom's, that our constituents were made to feel valued and that we always got back to them and that their opinions mattered. I will carry that philosophy into the county executive's office. In addition, I take our collaboration with the county council very seriously. If any department heads try to deliberately mislead you or not help you in getting the information you need, they will not be working on my team, and they will not be part of Baltimore County government. The county executive's collaboration with the council is absolutely essential, and as such, we will be meeting twice a month for an early dinner to discuss ideas, share initiatives, communicate, and look for win-win scenarios. In addition, I want to help all of you bring home your top initiatives for your district. I've met with many of you to discuss this, and if you have 1 or 2 initiatives that we can execute and put forth in the next 2 years, I want to help you do it so to the betterment of Baltimore County, and so we have a win-win, and after 2 years, we show people that Democrats and Republicans can work together, and we try an administration that's never been tried before, which is bipartisan and is for the people. Leadership. In my mind, the qualities and characteristics that best define an effective leader are 1, knowing that I'm not the smartest person in the room, and that in order to make the best decisions, I need to have people working for me that are the smartest and most capable people in their fields. In my 16 years in the Senate, when I made good decisions, it's because I involved everyone. I spoke to my staff, I spoke to the special interest groups on both sides. I listened, and I made good decisions. When I made the worst decisions, it's because I started making decisions in a vacuum. Vacuum leadership doesn't get good results. The second is not being bound by party loyalty in my personnel decisions. And the third, which is an important leadership trait, is having the courage to make difficult decisions regardless of the consequences. Councilman Koch did that years ago on same-sex marriage in a district in North County that was very tough. And I had been redistricted into that district, and I made the same vote. And believe me, it was the right thing to do, and I'm glad I did it. But we heard about it. Blackwater Wildlife Refuge, when I was in the Senate, I saved Blackwater Wildlife Refuge. They wanted to put 7,500 townhomes around the perimeter, which would have polluted Little Blackwater River. And I shut down the Senate for a week with debate. And when it was over, despite a lot of rancor, they came back and the Governor Ehrlich's Critical Areas Commission reversed its decision unanimously, and we saved Blackwater Wildlife Refuge. I also filibustered with the Republicans to stop a Democratic-led corporate income tax increase, and actually went to the Republican side to do it. I wasn't very popular in caucus afterwards, but again, I think it was the right thing to do. I supported slots, despite being pressured by my Democratic colleagues not to give Governor Ehrlich a victory in my first term. And recently, I stood with Governor Larry Hogan at countless press conferences supporting his initiatives to take the politics out of legislative redistricting to create an independent board so legislators weren't picking their own districts and Congress people weren't picking their own districts. I admire him for what he did. We fell short, but it was the right thing to do. And as you've heard from people and the media and everything, and in our last meeting, I was the only Democrat in the Maryland Senate to endorse Larry Hogan for governor in 2018. He was a good governor. He did the right thing. He was fiscally conservative. He worked across the aisle, which I respected. He deserved my support. I did it, and I'm glad I did it. In conclusion, I have a proven track record. This is the independence that I have demonstrated in my 16 years in the Maryland Senate and the type of fair, independent leadership that I feel the residents of Baltimore County need and deserve. I believe that I am the bipartisan candidate that this body is looking for, and I hope to win your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Brochen.
Happy to take any questions if anybody has.
Mr. Brochen, we're not going to do questions, but I'd ask the audience to give Mr. Brochen applause for. And Mr. Brochen, you're welcome to stick around to observe any of the other candidates, or you can, I know that you're a busy man, and if you have other things to do.
I think I'm going to go to sleep now.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Secretary, I'm going to grab it.
Mr. George Pertikakis, Sr.
George, we're going to ask you to sit right over here at the witness stand.
All the way to the end?
Good evening, Mr. Pertikakis. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
And before you begin, I'm going to ask everyone to give Mr. Pertikakis an applause for throwing us out into the room. And you may begin whenever you're ready, Mr. Pertikakis.
Right. This has been a tough time for me. As I was preparing what to say tonight, I reminisced about my life's long journey. I left Greece the 22nd of December, 1966. I arrived in New York City the 23rd of 1966 with $50 in my pocket, 2 vocabulary words of English, liberty and stop. But I had with me something that my father, my mentor, my idol, said to me, where you going in this country, just remember, a job is a privilege. And hard work can make opportunities come through. Well, being here tonight, asking you for your vote to become the interim county executive, I'm pitching myself because this is the country. This is the only country that allows someone to be able to do that. This is a remarkable country, and the country that I love. And I obtained, as soon as I came to this country, my first job, the second day after the 23rd. You know where it was? Washing dishes for Haller's New York system that my aunt knew, and I could get a job in order to survive. Well, after graduating from the University of Rhode Island, I married my wife, Zoe, who has been on my side for 53 wonderful years. She's here in the audience tonight. Together, we came to Baltimore, and I started working for the city government. How lucky I was. I had the honor of serving under William Donald Schaefer, one of the finest public servants I have ever had the privilege of working with. By December of 1988, when I left the Baltimore City, I left as Commissioner of Transportation. I had several elevations because I was a hard worker and I worked for a great man. Again, Willie Dunn. I went and took over a quasi-public agency, Maryland Environmental Service, which you all read a year ago. I didn't get no bonuses when I left. I gave back rebates to all the users of Maryland Environmental Service. And Baltimore County received a good rebate from running MES. MES, when I was at Maryland Environmental Service, when I got there, they were doing $8 million worth of business. When I left, it was $75 million. Again, I was the chairman of the board, and we went through each and every county of the state of Maryland. We built 3 landfills. One of your questions that you sent me was regionalism. Long time ago, I built the first regional landfill in the state of Maryland. Queensland, Talbot, Caroline, and afterwards Kent joined to address their solid waste needs for the next 50 years. Since then, I have managed many people, balanced many budgets, and worked to support my community through engineering and outreach. When I left MES, I came to a beautiful county, a county that I love and I live in it since then. I came to Baltimore County as the head of the Environmental Protection and Agency and Resource Management. I'm deeply committed in serving Baltimore County because they deserve it. Baltimore County is in my heart and my wife's heart, and this is why we elected to stay. This county, safety and education is one of my most important priorities, and I need to assure you that by working together with you, the council, we need to find ways to improve or enhance the safety of our people. Baltimore County people need to live fearless of any problems. I plan, if you decide to give me this job, I promise you, my first meetings will be with the police chief and the education department to see how we can find solutions. Because the Baltimore County residents deserve to have the support and be safe, not to worry about, can I go out tonight? Our county currently, the police department is operating with 221 vacancies. I know that it's your priority. It's going to be my priority. How we can fix that? Let's find a way to do that. How can we work together? Listen, I know all of you. I know all of you. You're my friends. Nothing is going to change. You give me this job, it's fine. You don't give me this job, we're still going to be friends.
Fair enough.
My wife made me promise that if you don't get this job, promise me that you're not going to get upset or vindictive. And I said, after 53 years, if you don't know me, then I got a problem. Therefore, safety and education is going to be one of my first priorities. And let me not let you off the hook. You're going to be my partners. We're going to work together, and we're going to listen to our customers, those that they vote us all in, and makes possible for all of us to put bread and butter on our tables. What's their concerns other than safety and education? The COVID stimulus funds, they were good. We filled several hundred jobs, and now they're still in existence. You think it's time for us to check this out? Are they needed? Do they serve a purpose? We're going to make some tough decisions. We're going to all work together to make tough decisions. And now let me say this to you. You're going to have to do that. I might not be your selected person, but guess what? I know your phone numbers, and I will be calling you because that's a must. That's a must for us to do the best that we can for the county. One very important issue is the AAA rating. My friends, we cannot lose that one. That's very important for us to maintain the AAA rating. In essence, we have a lot to lose if we lose that. As the next issue, infrastructure. We're in All County. the infrastructure is going down and down and down. We need to address that issue. And we need to prioritize. We should not look at this as, oh, well, so-and-so need this. No. We need to address the need and the importance of what we have and what we need to improve.
Mr. Pertikakis, I just saw your 15 minutes had passed. If you could just make a concluding statement.
Okay. In closing, we need to get through the next 2 years, make hard choices, but we're going to make that in collaboration and communications with this body, the county executive's office, and try to maintain all those issues that I have discussed with you. The Earl line is the best thing that the county has, and we must maintain that and let the 4-year cycle for the comprehensive rezoning make other decisions. But before we start building new stuff, let's maintain what we have in service now before we be, sorry, one more, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, right ahead. I will say that the only time that I disagree with my then boss and best friend, he used to call me son, was when Baltimore County had a stump dump fire here in this county, and they were getting ready, they were getting proposals to put the fire out, and the lowest proposal was $7.5 million. I came in with a plan, and I met Governor Schaefer at the dump, and I said, I think I have a way to put the fire out. He says, why you want to get involved in this? That's the only time I argue with him. I said, Governor, the last time I checked on the map, Baltimore County was in Maryland. And then we put the fire for less than $700,000 and never had any problems at that. With that, thank you very much. I'm sorry that I took too long, but thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward working with you if I'm selected.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pertikakis. I'd ask everyone to give Mr. Pertikakis. And Mr. Pertikakis, you're welcome to stick around, or if you have other things to do, that's fine while the other candidates are coming up.
I don't make those decisions.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, the lady down there makes them do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pertikakis. And where's Zoe? Is she out there? Raise your hand, Zoe. Oh, there's Zoe. Hey, Zoe. Give Zoe a hand. Yes. Hey, while we're waiting, why don't we go ahead and introduce the elected officials that are here? So if you're an elected official, please stand and I'll try to acknowledge you. Okay, who's first? Okay, we have, start here, Kathy Forbes, delegate Sheila Ruth, delegate, and Nick Allen, delegate. And how about Carl Jackson's being all shy? And Delegate Carl Jackson. Is anyone else shy like Carl Jackson? Oh, Scott Schellenberger, our state's attorney. Anyone else? Okay. Okay, I don't want to ask who wants to be an elected official, but I know that I see a couple folks in the room that do. Well, thank you all for attending this evening. It's very, very important.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, Senator Catherine Klausmeier.
And Senator Klausmeier, thank you for joining us. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you.
Chairman Patoka, members of the council, it has been my honor to serve the constituents of Baltimore County in the Maryland House of Delegates and the Maryland Senate. And if I'm asked to serve as the interim county executive, I am committed to working and collaborating with all of you as we continue to move Baltimore County forward. You all know me. I have worked with all of you. I have toured or visited all of your districts, and you know that I'm a woman of my word. I sincerely believe that this is not the time for Baltimore County to go neutral or coasting along. There is much to be done in the next 24 months to move the county forward. We have significant opportunities and challenges to contend with. It is my belief that the county will be ill-served if the interim county executive uses their appointment by this county council as a political stepping stone for a countywide election in 2026. The residents of Baltimore County deserve to make their own choice, unclouded by incumbency, about the county leadership for the next full term. If asked to serve, I am committed to working with the council, our dedicated employees, our police, our firefighters, and to improve the quality of life for our constituents. For the past 29 years, I have faithfully represented Baltimore County residents as an elected official, and I am honored and humbled to have been elected and re-elected to this leadership position 8 consecutive times. During that time, I have served as the chairperson of the Baltimore County Senate delegation, president pro tem of the Maryland State Senate. Larger than my resume is my commitment to showing up every day on behalf of our constituents. I have been instrumental in leading important policies and projects for the citizens of Baltimore County. But today, I want to focus on the future and how we continue to build Baltimore County, where families want to live, work, and raise their children, where our schools and our school facilities are the best in the state, where businesses want to invest and grow jobs, where public safety is our top priority, where housing is attainable for our teachers, firefighters, police officers, librarians, and correction officers, and where we invest in our communities. To accomplish this, I would want to highlight just some of the key issues facing Baltimore County today. It is no secret that Baltimore County has significant budget challenges. We must protect our AAA bond rating. At the same time, we have to continue to invest in our school facilities, parks, communities, and public safety. Upon taking office, it will be a top priority of mine to review the county budget with the professional staff that has been working digitally over the past months to put the county's budget together. I will collaborate with the council on the final product. We have difficult challenges as the state and federal governments manage their own fiscal challenges that will impact the county. On public safety, we must do a better job recruiting sworn police officers, EMTs, and firefighters. There have been several initiatives over the past few years to recruit officers. We will expand our cadet programs, and working with this council, we will look for ways to make Baltimore County a place where our first responders want to live and work. Reducing juvenile crime must, and I say must, and it will be a top priority. I will work with our police department, state's attorney, school system, and social services to ensure that we are providing the resources where they are needed most. We will give our police officers the tools needed to enforce the law, and we will have the police in their backs when they do so. I am proud to have the endorsement of the Baltimore County Fraternal Order of the Police to be the interim county executive, and I am committed to our communities, to make our communities safer, improving the lives of our young people. Also, on the issue of public safety, I believe that we must do more to deter aggressive driving and moving violations. I constantly hear the citizens that driver behavior has changed since the onset of COVID-19, and it has not been for the better. I will prioritize the efforts of the police department and traffic engineering to make county roads as safe as possible. We will protect our investments in our public schools by first and foremost honoring those commitments that have already been made for the new schools and improve facilities throughout the county while working with Baltimore County Public Schools and the school board. To attract economic development and growing jobs, I will seek to accelerate the Baltimore County West Side Redevelopment Initiative. In 2022, I voted for legislation authorizing Baltimore County to institute a unique authority for revitalizing an area on the west side of Baltimore County, including the Security Square Mall. Both the state and Baltimore County have allocated substantial funds to this effort, and the authority has been given powerful tools to proceed on redevelopment. I believe this effort has not moved fast enough and needs to be energized. I know from my experience on the east side that community investments work to create jobs and revitalize our economy. And throughout the county, I have seen many CDCs not popping up, but being part of communities, and I think they are the most important things for a community. It ensures that the community is involved, they have ownership of those communities, and business will prosper. I will seek to eliminate the backlog of outstanding permit applications and fast-track simple applications wherever possible, and sometimes they are called concurrent applications. And there's no need for a house, for a permit to take longer than a house to be built. We have to fix that. Attainable housing remains a challenge for too many of our residents and our workforce. When we talk about our inability to recruit sworn officers, we must acknowledge that wages, housing, and quality of life all play a role. I believe that we can respect the IRDL and our communities and find ways to address our housing needs at the same time. This will require leadership and collaboration on behalf of all of us and our community leaders. Yet, our top economic and quality of life priority for our county and our region must be getting the Key Bridge rebuilt. Our partners at the state and the federal level have been tireless, but we must remain steadfast in our efforts to get the Key Bridge rebuilt. The bridge is an essential component in our regions and, quite frankly, our nation's economic engine, which is the Port of Baltimore. But it is also vitally important for our quality of life to relieve the traffic congestion around the Baltimore Beltway. These are just some of the key issues I will pursue if I'm selected as the interim county executive. I have a strong record of working across party and jurisdictional lines, building partnerships and consensus on very, very tough issues. I will put the experience to good use as the interim county executive to benefit county and our regions. And one other thing that I would just like to say, I would like to continue the sidewalk program that has been started in the past couple years, because we do need sidewalks, and I know everybody kind of chuckles at that, but it's for safety reasons. So, and I would like to see that some of our roads throughout the county be paved. Finally, before I conclude, and because you know that you can trust me when I say this, I have no intention of running for the office of county executive in 2026. That commitment, coupled with my experience, knowledge, and passion to see the county move forward, make me uniquely qualified to step into the role of interim county executive. And I thank you for your consideration. And I would just like to say thank you to my family, my husband and my daughters are in the background, and all the people that came to support me. And I would just like to say it's been a very nice sitting in the purple room or the plum room. I mean, we had some really good conversations going. We had a good time. So I know more about those folks, and we all got along very well, and they are great candidates as well. So.
Thank you, Senator Klausmeier. Let's give her a hand. Senator Klausmeier, so that concludes it. We're not going to do any questions. You're welcome to stick around if you want to, or if you have other things to do, that's fine. But thank you so much.
No, there's nothing more than I would rather do is just sit here with you guys.
Okay. Thank you.
You know.
Yeah, why don't you, the Klausmeier family, please stand. Okay.
So I can just go back there.
Mr. Bostwick will help you. Thanks. And while I was acknowledging elected officials, I know that Delegate Scott Phillips is participating remotely. If any other elected officials are participating remotely, please let me know. But I just wanted to make sure that we knew that Scott Phillips was here.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I noticed a number of times tonight that people referred to this position as interim county executive. We are appointing the county executive, not interim.
Thank you for that clarification, Councilman Kutch. How's everybody doing? Everybody okay? All right. All right.
Gentlemen and members of the council, Ms. Yara Sheikh. And I must report that no one misbehaved, Mr. Chair and members of
Okay,
the
everyone's
council.
well behaved. Can you attest to that, Ms. Shake, that everyone was well behaved in the
No
in the
comment.
plum room? Okay, no comment.
Yes, everyone behaved.
Okay. Yes, Councilman Mark said whatever happens in the plum room stays in the plum room. I don't know what he's talking about. Okay, you may begin whenever you'd like, Ms. Shake. Oh, let's give Ms. Shake an applause.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you tonight. You've asked me to explain why I'm doing this. I've been working at the county and state level on issues important to our residents for the past 2 decades, and in the 2 years ahead, with a laser focus on growth and transparency, I hope to invigorate the county. I live in the central area, but I've worked with advocates, communities, and elected officials across the county, many of you. I know our schools, our libraries, the hot spots that need attention, and see potential throughout the county. I understand the issues of poverty, homelessness, and economic development. We are facing tremendous challenges, but I remain optimistic. These 2 years are an opportunity to get things done together. I'm ready to go on day one. I will collaborate with each of you. You all know I'm nonpartisan in nature. I've worked with many of you. Getting the work of county government done is about permit backlogs getting caught up, code enforcement working efficiently, roads getting paved, and trash getting collected on time. When I decided to do this, I met with each of you and heard from you the challenges and hopes of your district. You know your communities. I will continue these discussions with you, and together we can do great things. I've been asked to touch upon the Baltimore County budget. And how would I manage the financial constraints and balance spending needs against uncertain revenues? This is something I've been thinking about for 15 years as an education advocate and library trustee seeking construction funding. I understand the vast number of needs across the county in terms of infrastructure. I appreciate that we now have a master plan for our county facility needs, similar to the needs of our schools in my IPAS. We are an older county. I understand the importance of making these investments. But that must be balanced with fiscal responsibility. In the past 6 years, we have utilized PAYGO, which means we're using cash on hand to pay for more of our projects, which is great. This is a practice I pledge to continue. We need to be ever vigilant regarding our debt service, particularly in light of what may be decreased revenues from our state and federal partners. I'm sure you all know that as we raise our debt service, we then need to put more money in our rainy day fund to offset risk in order to maintain our triple bond rating. This leaves less in our general fund to spend on the needs of our county. I plan to work hand in hand with our budget director and chief administrative officer to make sure every penny of our taxpayer money is being spent wisely, efficiently, and in a transparent way. As we heard at the forum Monday night, residents are concerned about crime. First and foremost, I want to start by saying our first responders are phenomenal in Baltimore County. We have seen consistent decreases in violent crime, our fire and police response times have improved, and crimes get solved in Baltimore County. People should have faith and trust in the Baltimore County Police and Chief McCullough. Our SSTAT program that is allowing decision makers to make data-driven solutions to solve crime, identify trends, and locate hotspots that need attention. This is all available for the public to review online. But I walked with the Rogers Forge community after a father was shot on his own property. Incidences like these across the county haunt communities. The call for more police patrols is only possible with a full force, and now we have nearly 300 vacancies. We need to make sure that we have a fully operating police force. We need robust recruitment, and I applaud the most recent decisions to incorporate the NAACP in a recruitment effort, because frankly, our police officers should reflect the diversity of our county. That's true for everything we do moving forward, our teachers, our nurses, our healthcare workers. So how do we look at recruitment, and how do I encourage it? I would support best practices. What are other jurisdictions doing to retain their officers and recruit? I want to maximize recruitment at our wonderful higher education institutes and create incentives to attract officers. I want to continue the practice of take the car home. This is attractive to our officers, it's good for our communities, and it's an efficient practice. Second of all, I want to implement mortgage incentives to help Baltimore County Police buy homes in Baltimore County and live in Baltimore County. My job, as I see it, is to collaborate with Chief McCullough, Fire Chief Dixon, and union leadership to keep Baltimore County safe. Construction of a new fire station in Catonsville is set to begin, and a new Sparrows Point Fire Station and a new EMT Academy is going to be built near Trade Point Atlantic. These are ongoing projects that must move forward. In terms of prevention, we need to engage our young offenders with greater court supports that follow youth and engage them in programs that provide life skills and mentorship. And now I get to talk about schools. First of all, I want to recognize that I am the proud mom of 4 Baltimore County public students, 3 of them who have graduated. Thank you, BCPS. My time as PTSA president at every level of school education in Baltimore County provided me the opportunity to listen to parents, families, and guardians across this county. I've heard the concerns of the Teachers Association, CASE, and special education disability advocates. Anyone who knows me knows I know schools. I was in Annapolis when the Kirwan Commission was making its recommendations and supporting the spirit and passage of the blueprint. How does that translate, though, into student outcomes? By working closely with Superintendent Rogers to encourage a budget that promotes literacy. Children must learn to read using the science of reading. We need to ensure that our students are college and career ready. Also supporting efforts to make our school budget, like our county budget, more transparent, so we know how the dollars are being spent in our schoolhouses to support student achievement. In addition, student outcomes are related to the well-being and the professional development of our teachers. In the next 2 years, the MOU for both our Baltimore County employees and teachers union comes up. I plan to pay close attention to both of these negotiations and support efforts to entice Baltimore County employees to stay in Baltimore County, to work in Baltimore County, and to hone their skills in Baltimore County. Economic development. Trade Point Atlantic is building a 300-acre site, double container port, and is contracted with the largest shipping company in the world, Mediterranean. This project will bring in 1,100 new jobs that are family supporting with a professional trajectory and benefits. We can look at a heat map and know that the majority of their employees come from the east side of Baltimore County. We need more of this. Furthermore, working with our higher ed institutions, particularly CCBC, we need to invest in our workforce development. We're going to build the bridge, and Baltimore County workers will be doing it. CCBC is developing a robust welder training program, so our Baltimore County workers will build back our bridge. This is the type of innovative thinking we need to apply to AI manufacturing and seek out development of undervalued properties across the county. We need to collaborate with chambers of commerce across this county to support efforts like Main Street redevelopments, where we can secure state funding to help small businesses attract customers. I will champion both economic and workforce development. When we think in Baltimore County, we can't think of it in isolation. In addition, we need to work with our neighboring jurisdictions to advocate for additional transit dollars despite the tight state budget. We need to construct the red line so our workers and residents can move around our county and state for work and play. As many of you know, I've worked as a grassroots organizer on several key housing pieces of legislation. I gave testimony for the impact fee bill, the HOME Act, and also rental registration. We're getting close to meeting our housing consent decree, but it doesn't stop there. We need to ensure that affordable housing is a priority for our young people, teachers, police officers, and veterans. And when we talk about housing, we need to find solutions for our residents that are suffering from homelessness in the short term and long term. We need solutions that keep people safe. Moreover, real estate's my actual business. I know real estate and land development. I grew my own business starting in 2003 and understand the tensions between development and communities. But development can't stop in our county. It is a vital economic engine, and we need to revitalize many of our neighborhoods. I promise you, as a council, that I will show up to community meetings as I've done before and work on negotiating compromises and solutions alongside you. Baltimore County instituted a return to work policy this past July, and it is vital that we work in person and collaborate. I know our main streets want the business of county government to return, and we need to serve as a model for our commercial partners that have significant vacancies across our county. But work has fundamentally changed, and incorporating telework to increase efficiency, remain competitive, and accommodate evolving lifestyles is simply necessary. So continuing to work with our downtown partners and human resources to find a balance is a priority. The issue of government relations is an important one. The county executive is going to have to balance leading with collaboration. You've asked how I would work with all of you as a council. Ask Councilman Koch. I don't believe the county executive should remain in a silo. I think if I'm going to make decisions based on the needs of communities, who knows their communities better than you, the council members that represent them? So constant conversation and sharing of information will be a common practice. It's what I do. If we're going to revitalize East Point Mall or White Marsh Mall or work with Neighbor Space to bring the first urban walking pathway to Woodlawn, we will need to collaborate. I want to do those things. I see such incredible potential in our county. In terms of the CE's cabinet, I've worked with many of them, and since August, I've been in conversations about the county and asking Baltimore County staff, what do they envision for the next 2 years? Maintaining continuity of people with institutional knowledge and optimism is important to me. In terms of leadership, on day one, I am ready to lead. When COVID struck in March, teachers began reaching out, saying that their students online were telling them they were hungry. When I heard that, I had no choice but to lead. Alongside the Student Support Network and Baltimore County government, we began feeding families. Within weeks, I was coordinating efforts to feed 1,600 families at 3 sites across the county. Councilman Marks and Patoka were frequent volunteers. I worked with farmers like Albright Farms in Baltimore County to coordinate access to fresh vegetables, milk, and eggs. In a crisis, I have led communities in advocating for new schools and organized grassroots efforts to pass the hybrid school board bill and the HOME Act at the state and county level. I plan to work with our federal partners, Governor Moore, Senator Stallings, Delegate Metzger, and Councilman Crandall to get our bridge funded and built on time. My parents came to this country in 1970. They chose Baltimore County as the place where they wanted to raise their children. My husband and I have chosen the same. I want others to choose Baltimore County. I want this county to be a safe place with good schools and colleges, green space, thriving businesses, and strong libraries that advance democracy. A place where it is comfortable to be a new American, a senior, a family, a veteran. I'm not naive to the challenges ahead. This is not the time to stand still, but rather move forward together to continue the good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shaik. Thank you, Ms. Shaik, and your timing was perfect. You were right on at 15 minutes.
I do my homework.
Yes, you did. Okay, this is going to conclude our hearing. I would just ask my colleagues if there's any final concluding comments anyone would like to make. If not, that's fine too. I just thought I'd give you guys an opportunity. Okay, well, thank you all very much. Stay tuned. And happy holidays to everyone.
Yay.
Mr. Chairman?
Oh. What?
Is there any further business?
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Is there any further business?
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Sure. Are we